welcome to another episode of Going Back to the Basics, where we're going to take exercises out of instructional manuals, instructional books, and walk through them together as if we're the student and see, how does it all turn out? Does it work? Does it not work? Of course, they're supposed to work. So, did we work or did we not work? I guess is the answer. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to try to do a lot of things, and I hope it's just about as fun to watch as it is for me to do, because it's fun to go back it's fun to go back to the basics. Enjoy. Welcome to another episode of Back to the Basics. We're working out of Practical Blacksmithing by M.T. Richardson, and we're working out of Volume 3. And when I did the book introduction, I explained what it was that brought me to this book. I was looking for an exercise in a hold down or hold fast, and I haven't found one in a book yet. I mean, they're easy to make, and I don't need a book, but I want to walk through one just for the sake of doing it. But this is Volume 3, and we're looking, I believe it's going to be in Chapter 1. I found this project, Chapter 1. He starts talking about blacksmithing tongs, and he goes on and talks about it. It's very interesting. It's just one paragraph. I think that's all the write-up. He covers tongs, in one paragraph, and then this page illustrated. And the funny thing is, he goes into the blacksmith I'm going to read this to you. What the hell? The blacksmith who will do his work well and quickly, whether on carriage work or ordinary work of the country shop, must be well supplied with tongs, and they well made. It's hard to read these old writings. It is no uncommon thing to see a man working at the forge depending on 2 or 3 tongs for holding all kinds of work. If the jaw is open too wide, it is heated and a blow from the hammer closes it. If it's too narrow, the same operation has gone through to open it. This makeshift business costs dear and brands the workman as a botch. Yeah, I love that one. He's like, you need tongs for every job. You can't be Chandler with 2 or 3 tongs that you go back to and trying to make things work, because you look like an idiot. All right, you can adjust them and all that, but it's makeshift. It costs you business and makes the workman and brands the workman as a botch. I think that means monkey with a hammer. I'm not sure. So there's a little bit of his personality in the book, but this is why I decided to choose this book. All right, I was mentioning that when I was getting started into blacksmithing, Gary Houston was one of my YouTube mentors, and he was making a set of tongs, and he referenced that there's a way to make that set with one piece, and what he meant, I believe, was this one. I had not seen this exercise yet. So basically, if you take a look, we're starting with one piece of steel, dropping 2 steps of the tong, only the first 2 steps. All right, on both of them, and then just splitting the steel and getting your 2 tongs out of it. I think that's a neat way to do it. I want to go ahead and give that a try, and that's what we're going to do, basically right there. All right, so I'm going to do just the 2 steps, same process: drop, rotate 90, drop. We do that on both ends, and then somehow we figure out how to split this. I'm not sure whether if he says use a hot cut, we'll use a hot cut. Maybe use a grinder. I don't know. We'll work it out. But that's what we're working on today. A 1-piece tong, which again, in this design, all right, from M.T. Richardson's book. Before we get steel hot here, I was just reading through this page again. Actually, I have done a couple projects since I printed this out. This is pretty much all he tells you about it. Figure 10 shows a side view. Then split as shown in figure 11, and draw the handles to proper shape. Punch the holes and rivets, and the tongs are complete. There you go. That's just, how much more simple could it be to make tongs? I love it. And then, shape to suit, and then he goes on to another discussion on a shoe spreader. Even though that discussion, the illustrations are kind of mixed in. It's kind of an interesting way that they put the book together. But all right, so from there, it's all up to you. You need to figure it out. And what we're gonna do is what we normally do with tongs: drop the face, rotate 90, a little cant, and drop it again on both ends, and then split it. Crazy. Alright guys, I'm about an hour and a half, maybe, geez, more than an hour into this process. Yeah, more than an hour, because I stopped 2 or 3 times because I did not reproduce what was here. The orientation in this illustration, the orientation is very specific. This end of the bar, when you flip it around, the bottom, you have to have the bottom here and then squeeze the top. And then you drop one to the right and one to the left. All right, and then you cut it out, which is exactly what I did. Finally, after 2 times of doing it my way, I finally got it right with his drawings. And if we take a look, let's go this way. No, I gotta, just so I can, yep, all right, so here, this representation, right? Jaws coming out and we're flat here. That's what you got in this top drawing. Jaws coming out and you're flat here. This one's on the bottom, this one's on the top, right? Same exact thing, okay? Now you come down here and rotate it, right? All right? There's the down jaw coming down, jaws up and going upward. You see it? Exactly in that drawing. And then you come down to this one, the last one. Yep, that's it. Okay? So the bottom jaw here and it's smooth, and the top, the jaw is on top there and coming out. Exactly like the drawings. And again, I had messed it up. You know, in order to do that, I had, you know, the first time I did it, I did what I normally did. You know, drop, drop, done, turn it around, do the exact same thing, drop, drop, done. This one I had to flip it over first, which I don't think is the key, but instead of dropping it here, I dropped it over here. All right, to bring it to the left instead of bringing it to the right, on my right, my left. And when I got all done, after all of that work, and then I split them. You did old school splitting. I swear, I'll throw a piece of video on just to prove it, right? Because I'm not doing it again. That took the longest. All right, I'm going to cut the next one we're going to cut with an angle grinder. But when you go to put these suckers together, they're wrong. They are absolutely wrong. All right, they're wrong. All right, and I'll tell you what. You tell me, you show me, somebody comment that this is right and you're reading it wrong, Chandler, and you freaked out, I'll pull a video. I sincerely will. But I hate to do it. The book's like 100,000 years old. Oh, crap. But here I am a couple hours into a freaking video, and now I'm going to start over again. And it's just to show you how I believe it's done, following the same concepts. So I apologize for the length of the video. I'll try to cut in some of the stuff, you know, at least the splitting part. That's something that's different, but I'm not going through that again. No, not today. You can split it if you want to. I'm going to use the grinder and finish it up with a chisel. So let me get started. I don't know what I showed you when I didn't show you in the old part of the video. Start off with a piece of steel, and you're going to draw out your jaws the way you want them. They're going to be upside down though. Alright? And then you just come back here, and then you connect those two together, draw your holes, and you have 2 tongs, right? I might have shown you that already. If not, that's all you got to do. Just cut the things out and you have 2 tongs. Alright? So the only thing that has to happen is one's got to go one way and one's got to go the other way. So one's gets dropped this way and then this one flips around and gets dropped that way. Everything else has to be the same. Okay? Alright. So all we do is the first 2 steps of this project. Now I want 1.5 inches, which is right where that party hole starts. Same thing as we did before. Drop it halfway. Just like you would in any of the other methods that I've shown you. Stretch them out a little bit because I have some wide tongs when I get done, I think. Alright, halfway down. And you come over here to this side, we almost have enough heat. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna go back. Nah, I'm gonna get some heat. We're gonna come back across. Fudge. Sorry, guys. I'm a little flustered. Alrighty. So. Just like any other time, drop it half, rotate 90, come across, and what we learned last time is that you want to be at a 45 to 30 degree angle, and drop it halfway again. Well, in this case, not halfway. Just drop it enough. We're going to go with that thickness of tong. Alright, and that should give you your angle relief here, and then we can go ahead and clean up this boss a little bit. We can clean it up a little more once we get the things cut. Okay? So that's it. Just like normal, halfway down, across at whatever angle it is that we use, 30 to 45. And in fact, I'm going to mark that so I do the next one the same way. Come on, Chuck. Alright, keep that in mind. And that's it. You're done with this side. Cool it down, flip it around. Alright, we're going to do the other side, but we need to make sure that we flip it over. So this is now up. We're going to come this way with it so that the top is here. That way we're going to have one jaw on top, one jaw on the bottom. We can split the rest of this down. Alright, let's get the other side. And again, we want it to be squished up this way. So this is going to be on the bottom. That's the only trick. This is up, this is bottom, this is top. Same exact spot. Drop it down halfway. Again, I'm going to draw this out a little. Now I'm going to go in for another heat. Alright, now, once you, again, bottom, top, that's the only trick. Everything else, once you're done, halfway down, rotate like you normally do, and drop it. But again, in this case, we're only dropping down to the original thickness, alright? Just like that. Otherwise, we're going to have trouble with the boss when you're done. Simple, nothing new. Half, rotate 90, come over at the angle, drop it down. Alright? Normally then we rotate one more time and we draw that boss out. We put the next step in, we cut it in half, we do it on both sides, cut it in half and be on our way. But we have a lot. Then you'd have, slow down, Chandler. Then you'd have an inch, alright? You drop it here, but then you'd have like an inch of stuff to draw it into the handle. With this method, and again, the only trick is one's on top, one's on bottom. Everything else is normal routine. Down, normal rotate, angle, down. Alright? All we gotta do now is split it. Alright, so now we're just gonna say, let's go back, same angle on there. So from an inch, at the same angle we got on this boss. Alright? Opposite over here, an inch. Or whatever you decide to do. Same angle we have on that. Alright? But then you're just going to split these guys right down the middle. And you'll end up with two sets of tongs if you do it right. Now I'm going to run over to the grinder and do this one. I'll insert the splitting or some of the splitting video right now that I did on the first set. That part I'm not going to redo. Too much work for me today. I changed my mind. I'm going to do half and half. So I did start scoring it. I don't know. I'm not quite halfway through, but I'll do the rest with the chisel or the hot cut. Cause I'm sick of smelling that abrasive wheel crap. So let's get it done. Alrighty. We probably don't need that yet. Hopefully we got enough heat on here. Oh yeah, we got some cutting heat. We got some cutting heat. So let's just finish that cut. That is actually all the way through. This is the one we have to finish. And we'll flip it over. It's cut finished. I guess we don't need the sacrificial yet. Still going to take a couple of heats to do this. I don't know why that grinder was bouncing so much, but I suppose a little mix of old school, a little mix of new school. We'll get her cut. Alright, let's see if we can go ahead and finish this cut. On this end anyway. Go over, I guess. Get her done. I guess this chisel is a little aggressive for the task anyway. Get back on the sacrificial. There we go. Alright. Flip her over. Alright, let's try this mild steel hot cut and see if maybe that's a little more friendly. It's a little narrower grind that I made on one of our other projects. Might slice a little easier. Much better. Go all the way through. Get this corner here. Get this corner a little bit tighter. Flip you over. Flip you over. A four-leaf clover, and I'll flip you on the floor. You dirty rotten, you dirty rotten, dirty rotten. Do 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 do. You dirty rotten, you dirty rotten. We're almost out of heat, but we ain't got far to go. Come on now, don't make me reheat. You're almost there. Dirty, rotten thing. Could almost tear it off. Just don't want to go back for one more heat. Stay on the freaking anvil, would you please? Thank you. Come on, you're there. Come on, go back anyway. Crazy. Alright, let's get these straightened out before I draw out the handles. Make sure we didn't make any mistakes. Alright, not following the instructions. Let's see how we did. Now we're in business. Alright, now these guys want to be in the same playing field anyway. So it's just that one illustration that's wrong. So let me go ahead and I will geez, I almost want to drop these. See, the whole point is that you don't need to draw out the reins very much. This whole ugly crap in here too. I don't mind the technique, but I almost feel like narrowing this boss up. All right, so you get exactly half over half. I think I'll do that, and by doing that I'll have a little more hammer work to do here, but it won't be too bad. We won't have to draw it, we just have to narrow it. So let's clean up the reins, get the boss where we want it, and then we'll see where we are then. Alright, again, I think I can drop this jaw a little bit more, just thin that boss out a little bit more. Just need to come back here and thin this out too, that's all. That's the only cost to it. Alright, yeah, I like that more. Now we'll just clean up the rest of this crap. I almost feel like cutting that off. Alright, let's clean up this front half of the reins, clean up the back half of the reins, call it done. So again, I do have to thin them down because I thin that boss down. Otherwise they'll be hitting. Go ahead and clean up the boss while we got the heat there. Alrighty, flip around. Go to town. Alrighty, we'll drop the rest of these reins. Again, this is the whole point of this particular method of making tongs. That you have a hell of a lot less reins to draw out. And you're not force welding reins on. Not that either one of those are a horrible thing, depending on the situation you're in. It's just another option for you. Just a little bit farther on those. Let's see what we got going on here. Actually pretty long, not pretty long, but long enough for me. Clean up this spot a little. Make sure we don't go any wide anyway. Otherwise they'll be knocking knuckles with each other. Knocking knuckles with each other. Alright, let's clean this up. We'll still work a little bit on the end there. I hate to put more time into these, but are you serious? I guess he botched that one. Get it? From the opening. Wrong tong. See, these aren't adjusted for a freaking whatever size that is, and that's why I'm poor business. Makes for bad business and a workman who would be called botched. You just put a little bit more on the end of that. I think we can just get it. Not that I really need much more length, but it's just a little too heavy back there. So let's clean it up. Just a little. kind of straightish. We're gonna have to tweak her in the end anyway, but that's good. All right, that's one. All drawn out. This was what we started with. Oh, how hot that is. I know this one is hot. All right, so we got, just picked up a couple inches, but she's all cleaned up anyway. I'll finish this one up and I'll come back. We're 3 minutes short of an hour already into this. That's crazy. You should be able to make a set of tongs for what they're worth. What are they worth? You can buy them for $20 easily. All right. $20 an hour, and I still got to rivet and set the jaws and everything. It's crazy. All right, so here's what you get if you follow his instructions in the book. You get 2 jaws that are pointing that way. All right, no matter which way you put them together. Or 2 jaws pointing that way, right? Now, right. So, doing them with my alteration to his verbiage, or his illustrations actually is what happened. Now you get jaws that overlap each other, they're right. So again, the illustration that we disregard is this one in the middle. Alright, we don't want the jaws in 2 different directions. Now again, if I'm wrong, I'll pull this freaking video. You know, I've been working, we got an hour and 10 minutes just on these. Alright, a little less. But I've been at this for 2.5, maybe 2.5 hours because of trying to duplicate his work. So you make the call, but here we are. All right, now we got out of one piece without having to do all the drawing that we normally would have to do. All right, that's the key, is we didn't have to do all the drawing that we normally would have to do. It's just, I think, 3 heats and we were done. Now what we need to do is go ahead and get the holes punched. We're going to do this old school. We're going to follow the instruction. He says punch them. So we're going to punch the holes, and then we're going to figure out what jaws we want on this and get these jaws set. Alright, as much as I'd like to be done with the video and just call these plain old tongs and do a simple jaw, I use these tongs a lot. I bought these. They're some welded up jaw. They're kind of like a box tong. Well, that's kind of what I use them for. But when I'm working on a knife, it's somewhere in the 2-inch range or more. This type of tong I like. But this is too narrow. I mean, I made this for horseshoes, I believe. So I need something, I think the same style tong as this one. I think you'd call it a box jaw, but like 2 inches wide is what I'm looking for. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll do that simply by drawing this out. I don't need a whole lot more length. We'll get it in the process. Draw this out. So we get, you know, the bottom jaw doesn't have to be that wide. Inch and a half, maybe 1.25 inches. And then the same thing with the top jaw, and then we'll just split it and curl a couple of hooks to make them into box. I think they're called box jaws. That's what we're doing. Alright, so what we're going to do is this will be the bottom jaw, I hope. We're just going to try to stretch her out in width. Hopefully in this direction. We've got to maintain that. So again, I'm going for something like inch and a half, 1.25 inches. The bottom jaw actually doesn't have to be specific. The top jaw does so. One more stretch, I think. We're almost there now. Clean her up, one more little stretch. Stretch her and cut in all directions now, just to give me a little more length on it. Right, she's looking forward, looking forward. Boss is cold, that's why I can hand on it. Just thought I'd clean it up a little there. not fine-tuning it until I get the rivet in. But I figured this would be a lot easier to do without the two riveted together. So I'm okay, I think, with that. Let's get working on the other one. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing, just kind of stretch this out in width mostly, and then we'll go back and with that rounder and go in both directions. This one doesn't have to be as wide because we're going to put those teeth on it. We want it a little thicker too. Alright, let me clean that up. I'm not liking the marks on the inside and the crookedness out here. Alright, let's upset that end a little bit. Just to square it off. We need a little more length on this one because we are going to split it and roll it. So I don't remember. When I did the other one. See what we got going on here for these two. Alright, so we're here. If I split that about 1/2 inch and roll it out, I think we'll be okay. Thickness wise, we got a lot more meat up there to play with though. Just gonna go a little longer with this one. This one is pretty thick from here on out. Just pull it out a little bit. Don't look too bad right there. Alright, we'll go ahead and split that. Oh, how far do you think we need to split it, Jim? What do you do with your little... There it is. Want to go 2 inches, like 2 1/4. I don't want to go 2 1/2. I'd say if we come out almost 3/4 of an inch. Exactly centered, is it? Somewhere between those two. Damn you. Just a hair more, I think. Alright, somewhere on that mark. We'll split her up. Alrighty, let's see what we can do about maybe getting a little straighter here. Come on now. Not bad. Not bad. I think that'll give us enough. Let me heat her up for that last blow through. We'll get our sacrificial out. I wonder if I'm doing something wrong with slitting like that, because we always end up with that burr. And maybe you always do, I don't know, but I don't want to. I don't like the idea of it. Alrighty. I think that's enough. I almost wish I had a bit more, just a bit. Just a bit. We'll come back from this side and kind of clean it up a little. Take a good hammer. Carpenter's hammer. Alright, heat them up, spread those guys apart, bottom that out a little. Now let's just kind of get these guys rolled out of the way here a little bit. Diligence to get that where that chisel is finished, get that rounded off so it won't, it probably won't split with this tool anyway, but you don't want any points, you don't want any, you know, cracks, like you don't anything sharp. I mean, even one of my last projects when I did the bracket for the anvil stand, I like to often, because of my eyes, when I'm not worried about the structural integrity. I'll score something with the angle grinder so I can see where I want it to bend or something. Plus it does help bend in the right direction, but at the same time, and they called me out on it, it's not, you're creating a possible fracture point there. So I got a nice sharp point on this anvil, kind of liking my hay button. So just around that off out there a little bit, and now we'll just pull these tabs around so we get the width we want. Let's just keep working on these. I guess that's what we're after anyway, is a nice straight corner. This one's a little bit on the short side, so we'll grab some meat from it. Doesn't look horrible. Doesn't look horrible. Now that one's a little long. That's good because I wanted to thin this side a little bit. Just get these guys evened up. See what our dimensions are. Put our final bends on them. And again, like I said, we're going to tweak this stuff later anyway. Better now. I think I keep going from one to the other, making one a little longer than the other one is. Of course, you have this thing called a measuring device. Yeah, a little over a quarter. Hell, they ain't far off. They will just look like. All right, so that gives me, I want 2 1/4 inches. So I'd say, that gives me, we got a little over 3 1/2. So 2 1/4, damn near 1/2 inch of turn there plus radius. Alright. Alright, so make sure we do it the right way. We figured about 1/2 inch. Got plenty of mass, so we can try to square that off. Nothing wrong with that, except the other one ain't done. All right, we'll do this last one here. Do 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 do. 2 1/2. I think we can come down a little bit. How the hell am I going to square that off, children? That'll be interesting. too snabby at all. Looks a little wide. Yeah, we're at 2.5. Am I okay with that? No, I don't think so. No. We're doing an educational video, Chandler. We ain't doing a project for show. I almost would like them a little narrower, but I can make that happen later. Alright, so where are we at? We now have some nice wide boxed jaws. The center jaw is almost, the bottom jaw is almost centered perfectly on there. Everything looks really, really good. So let's go ahead and punch, because that's what he wants us to do, is punch. We're going to punch our holes. Alrighty, so I marked where I want those to be punched with a center punch. We will get right on that mark, at least for the first hit anyway. Oh, God. There you go. Halfway you should see a bulge. I don't ever see a bulge. Let's do, we can't do a temperature hole. Uh-oh, that might be a problem. We haven't done the punching exercise yet, but I'm gonna heat this up. I let it cool down too much. They say, oh, and I can see a show sometimes, but not always. Nothing ever is as clear as what they show in the books and on the videos. It's none of a poop. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing done now. Well, you can see it now though, can't you? See exactly where it wants to be. Let's hope anyway. Oh yeah, we do fit. Nope, didn't work. We're off just a little bit. That's the kind of thing practice will make perfect on. I'm sorry I gotta go back, but hey, we're learning, right? I wasn't gonna go for the show right out of the heat, but it looked like it was there. Let's get it done right. And we don't fit on that side though, do we? Better. Gosh, darn that bugs. Alrighty. We are through-ish, but with a bird. That sucks. Trust me, it's easier than that. It really is. So we'll just drip this guy out with a 3/8 inch rod. That should make everybody happy. At least we know it should fit. Let's get the other one done. Alright, let's see if we have any better luck with this one. There's the hole. That's where we want you, right there. Stay. Oh, that shows really good. Come on, get over the edge. That shows really, this must be a mild steel punch I made for something that I've been using for a lot more. That was perfect. Alright, so we have to cut it off here. Come on now. Plug is just there, but I can't get over the hardy hole, or yeah, the pritchard hole. There she goes. There she goes, buffaloes. Well, that was much better, wasn't it? That's how it's supposed to go. Just gonna heat it one more time to size it. I like to countersink these things now. When I drill them, I drill a countersink on them. I really like doing that. I might actually do that. We're gonna see here. I have to make a punch or something. This must be mild steel. Bends like a son of a gun. trying to make a good one, Chandler. Trying to go get some coil sprying from the scrapyard. So all we're doing now is just drifting this thing clear. So it's the right size. Why do you think you gotta go in so far, Chandler, but you don't. Alrighty. Just messed it up, but we'll be alright. I gotta drift this way, but I can't get it in there. Can't get it in there because the picture hole's too far away. Alright, I'm sure we're good there. Now this countersink thing, let me think. For a countersink, I just made up a quick little punch with a spur on the end so that I can just see outside is here. Try to center that up. I don't want to drift it at all, you know what I mean? But I do want to countersink it. Just a little. Alright, I like that. I like having the rivets in there like that. And then all I'll do now is just drift this thing back out. I think we'll be okay. I just like that look much better. It's just a personal preference. Alright, so we got a little countersink going on. Let me get the other one done, I'll be back. Alright, we'll get this other one done. That is the outside. Yes. The outside. Oh. I like that. Oh, did you with your drifter Chandler? Where'd I put it, guys? Oh, never picked it up. Just drift that sucker back out. Alrighty, now we gotta get a rivet cut. Got some 3/8 stock. This is where I always screw up. I either have too much or too little rivet. And that is something we're gonna spend some time practicing in the rivet section of the world. So if I do that, I'm flush. And I think no less than 1/8 and maybe a quarter. So I'm gonna just throw a quarter on there and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, so I got a little bit of a, oh, maybe I want a bigger one than that. My bottom plate for riveting. I'm not sure if it's an actual tool or not, but it will allow me to let this stuff come out a little bit more. I hope enough. We'll have to flip it over and check it when we're ready. Which we are ready. Alright, let's do it. Just get the rivet. Oh, don't lose it in the fire, Chandler. By the time you pick the rivet up, it will be cold. Unbelievable. Sometimes you have to wonder why, oh why. So we'll just get her started down there. We'll make sure, ooh, that might be too short. Might be too small. Like I said, I never get it right. There is my opening. It's kind of the look I like, flush, but I like it to fill it. It's not horrible. About another 1/16 and I would have been happy. I could have filled where I messed up that the center punched. It doesn't look perfect. I mean, it's properly riveted. It just probably an 1/8 of an inch more steel. We'll get her straight one day. All right, now we got tongs that don't open. So all we gotta do is heat them up, get them working, punch them down. Are we gonna be done? I think we're gonna be done. All right, so what you gotta do is get them hot, work them, and quench them. It's not too horrible right there. Should have worked them a little wider though. All right, so there's our tongs. I thought we were done, but we're not done because I'm not doing 1/2 inch knives. So now we gotta just adjust that, and if we need to, we'll start lining it. See how this is off to the side a little bit? So we'll heat it back up, and the fire from hell, I don't know what happened to my fire, but she's gone. And then we'll finish this up. All right, so I got a piece of 2-inch stock here. This is what I really wanted the set of tongs made for. We'll get that thing down in the center here. Centered enough. Yeah, I think we're alright. Alright, and then we'll set this in here. We'll get our thicknesses set. Alright. So when the tongs are closed, we got the right thickness there, but we're still way off on width here on my jaws. So I got lots of work to do. Plus I need to spread these reins apart a little bit. I'll show you how I do that. Alright, before I adjust those reins, let's go ahead and get these outriggers. This is perfect for a 3-inch piece, but it's not what I want. So we'll just bring these guys in. Make sure it looks like they're centered. So that's where we want it to be, out a little bit more. We don't want them curled over like that because then we're going to have a hell of a time getting stuff on there. So at that point, we should be able to just straighten them out. Longer than I need, but we can nip those. Just line back up where they belong. Hopefully we widened a little bit in the process. Yep, just a little, just enough. And that looks good. I kind of like that. Although we're not very centered, are we? We're not exactly centered. Do I care about that much? I kind of do. Damn it. Alright, maybe I'm just getting picky in my old age, but I kind of want this one down farther so that they're centered, which means this one's got to go out farther. More centered than they were. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Except for our jaws are too loose, but we can fix that. Alright, let me square these off. I'm going to ask your forgiveness because I'm going, ow! Fudge, man! Stop! We can grab the hot part. Yeah, that's much better. Looks good. I'm just going to nip those off with the grinder. I'm not going to do it old school. Sorry. Alright, now to adjust these reins, I'm going to take my stock that I want in the part, lock that into a vise so that everybody's happy. Can't get everybody in the freaking vise. Shocker. And then we're just going to adjust these reins to where I want them when I'm closed at that distance. Just like that. Okay. Make sure everybody's still lined up, happy enough, which I think we are. It's not perfect, but close enough. Problem here is that at an angle a little bit. Work these a little bit, and there we go. One more test. There's a 2-inch knife. And then I pick them right up. I left them wide because if I want, you know, if it's a little narrower knife, I want that to, I just freak that up. I want that to help hold that a little bit. So there you go. Like the way it is. Shoot, I just closed them. By squeezing too hard, we still have to make it happen. Open them back up. Where we want. We're still happy. Happy days are here again. Good, beautiful, and done. Just a set of tongs for you. Alright, didn't have to make it so complicated. I'm sorry about doing that. I might actually put 2 videos out. I might do the one we're doing right now, which is the back to the basics, and then I might just do this particular set of tong builds. But let's recap. Give me a second. So this has seemed to happen a couple of times now, where I found something in the book and the number wasn't right. Is my face really that dirty, or am I just in the shadows? Holy cow. I think Lord Bacon had one number that was wrong, but point is, we're looking at this one. All right, it's where the first time I came across the Piece Tongs. We're on Practical Blacksmithing by M.T. Richardson. I think it's a great book to read. I'm extremely disappointed that the very first thing that I tried to reproduce following his illustrations. Again, if I'm wrong, you guys call me and this video will be pulled tomorrow, I guarantee. But this is wrong to make this. All right, if you do opposite like this shows here, you will end up with 2 lefties, or something. It just won't work right. Now, other than that, I think the book's worth the read, since you can just download the PDF and get it. As far as Piece Tongs, the whole concept, the whole idea of doing it this way, at first I was loving it because it's like, damn, I don't have to draw out those reins. But I've spent, again, I was messing around, but this last set of tongs, right, from start to finish, I won't lie to you, it started at 10:33, it's 12:54 right now, all right? So that's 2.5 hours for a friggin' set of tongs, and they're not even the best looking ones. Of course, I was goofing around, and we went a little complicated on the jaw there, but I think I could have done that quicker using my old method, all right, of just doing 2 ends and drawing the thing out. I don't know why it took, I mean, the only difference would be splitting it. So it's up to you. Think about it. It's another option for you. Just remember, the only thing that's complicated or tricky is that this has to be what you start off with. One on the bottom, one on the top, all right? If you don't do that, then you're gonna be in trouble. I think my favorite my preferred method so far is half by 1, all right, for the tongs that I make. And just forging out the tong, and then welding some reins on so you don't have to draw it out as much. That part, I think if I were to make another set of tongs right now, for me, that's the way I would do it. But here you have it. All right, Piece tongs, trying to make them out of 1 piece, and a hell of a challenge for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a few things, and we will get these rivets. I mean, look at my bosses. My bosses are good. All right, the tongs, these, the angles and everything, I didn't even clean these up. These are right off the forge, and they're still pretty ugly for right off the forge. But we'll get that when we get that riveting part totally. And the only thing that I have trouble with is the amount of rivet that I need. That's all. I'm having trouble picking that up. But anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one. And like I said, I might just put 2 videos out. I might do a short on just these tongs because there's a whole lot of other things that happen in the Back to the Basics series. So take care. If you found this video helpful, educational, maybe even if you just found it entertaining, and you want to support me, you can jump back to my channel. There's a button on the right hand side of the screen called support, and it's kind of like a tip jar. You can go ahead and leave Chandler a tip for this video, and that'll help me make some more, I guarantee. Thanks for your support as always.